think we can hear each. We should be able to hear ourselves in the pre-show, right?
Nice try. Okay, so I've got. Looks like I'm coming in. Max, say something. Okay, hang on. All right, there we go. La, 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 la. Got it.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti.
All right, I've got both bars moving. We are on time. It is pre-show time. It is fucking hot today, dude. It's a fucking 100 degrees like an hour ago. I'm gonna
Dude,
melt.
it's warm. I might give in and put my window AC unit in.
You
I'm
haven't.
just
Oh man, I keep forgetting you live far enough north where like you can get away with that. Because if I
Is it an
st-
altitude thing?
that
Because
too, that too. I
yeah,
if I don't start running my AC at like end of April, my apartment gets too hot, so I got to deal with that. But it's okay. The abundant sunshine
you
and
know,
warmth, I'll take it.
I'm like, here's where I'm at. Like, I want to put it in my main bedroom because,
Mhm.
like, obviously that's the most comfortable thing to do.
Of course.
Oh, okay, now I muted it. Yep. And then, but it's like a second story.
Hmm.
So, and also like the windows are like side opening, not vertical opening. So like the unit, I basically I need to like cut like a custom piece to like fit
Mm.
in and like trap the air. Otherwise, I just have like this giant opening right above my AC unit.
Oh, which is exactly what
And
you
bugs
want.
would get in. Yeah.
Bugs,
Um,
black people. We don't want that.
but hang on. Um,
Oops.
the I can passively cool the house decently, but there's just some days where it's like too much.
No,
But the
yeah.
problem is that like it'll be hot for like 2 or 3 days, and I'll finally be. I'm like I have like that third world problem where it's
Mm.
like whenever it's raining, I can't work on the roof and fix the hole in my roof
Mm.
because it's raining. But
Mm.
whenever it's sunny, it's not a problem,
Exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
I've just fallen into this third world mindset where I never put my AC unit up in my thing where I'm like, it only takes like 2 or 3 days of like heat where I'm like, oh man, I really wish I'd put the AC unit in. And then it'll be like another 3 days where it's like, ah,
It's
this is
fine.
fine.
Yeah. So you're just like, whatever. It's not
Like
my
it
problem.
goes back to the 70s. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is nice.
Mm.
Um, Missile launches here. He says, "Sunned, blurry, time to pre."
Mm. Oh, he says, I think you
Um,
are a little. You do kind of pop in and out with the blurriness. Yep. See, there you go.
I think I'm underlit to a significant degree.
Probably. There we go. Just turns on the sun. Bzzz. There we go. There's our white boy.
Mm.
Mm.
You know, I thought I tanned decently this weekend, but I don't. I yeah.
I came
Oh,
home.
nice! You got the
Yeah.
watch tan
Got the
going.
watch
That's
tan
right.
going. It's professional. I came home and my Mexican neighbor was like, "Dude, you look like me." I was like, "Great, thank you." Now I need to carry my passport card with me at all times.
Oh
Excellent.
shit.
uh,
Um, should we launch into it then?
I guess we should launch into it. Yeah, let's give our audience here another second to maybe dig in their butts, and actually, we'll just start
Oh,
it.
let me reblog a live now
That'd
on
be
the
good.
tumblr.com. Like we can do that.
Let me get my my podcast beverage ready. Modelo Blanco.
There's a Modelo Blanco. It's not just Modelo Especial.
Sorry, Modelo Especial por el Blanco Mano. Mm.
There's
Ah,
black and there's special. Okay,
of
these are
course.
the two.
That's normally how it is. You have black, and then you have autistic beer. Mm. Yeah,
Oh, which
intro.
reminds me of a funny story that I
We'll do
will
after the
tell.
after right after the intro. And
Um,
here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 179 of The Altar, title of which Ghislaine Maxwell, or Ghislaine, or however the fuck you pronounce that, apparently did nothing wrong, according to recent revelations. But we'll get to that in a second. Max, excuse me, was about to tell us a story.
Well, you know about being special,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Every day.
Um, yeah. So like you go to your 4th of July barbecue with your friends and you know, you're just having a good time. Somebody's putting on shitty music and you know, you're having a laugh. Somebody's working the grill. You play some yard games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then your buddy's like, "Hey, Max, I know that you're like a radical political guy. I'm in like some group chats where like people are telling me to commit crimes." And I'm like, anybody who tells you to do illegal things on the internet is a fed or retarded.
Or both.
Like,
Or
or
both.
both.
But yeah, if you are ever like, if you're, oh, this is a nice community, and maybe you go out shooting once and you notice they all kind of show up in the same model of F-150 and they all wear like black shirts and khaki pants. And they're just kind of studying you, and then they, like, the group chat, they're like, "Hey, man, you should really go to this location and just like do these illegal activities. Wouldn't that be so based?" And you're like, maybe I should. Don't fucking do it, man. Don't fucking do it.
No, the thing is, he's like in leftist circles.
Mm-hmm.
And so, did you see this ICE ambush that happened?
I saw
This week?
his wasted corpse on the ground in tactical shorts. That was about it.
So, one of the funny parts of this is that apparently one of the guys like 3D printed an AR, doesn't even live in California, was 3D printing it himself, and still made a California compliant AR.
Surf mindset, man. Even when you're trying to strike out against the master, you're like, oh, hang on, let me not use more than 10 rounds. That would be obscene.
It's like, bro, if you're going to use your rifle to kill federal agents,
Also, who the hell
why are you
even
making
made?
it California compliant?
Yeah. Also, who the
People
hell
cannot.
even made a California compliant 3D printable AR-15 model?
Yeah,
Why would you,
what was the
what?
point of that?
What is the point of that? You're 3D printing a fucking gun with no serial number. You're gonna put like a bullet button on it. What are you doing?
Well, it had like the swept back grip, and like 3D printed sights, which explains why like they fired like over 100 rounds
It
and
didn't
only
hit shit.
once.
Oh man.
So, anyways, 10 people have been charged with attempted murder after this is from the Guardian. Um, after allegedly ambushing U.S. immigrations and customs enforcement agents in Texas on 4th of July.
10 people.
10. Federal prosecutors said attackers drew the agents out of the ICE detention center in Alvadro, Texas, with fireworks and vandalizing vehicles. They shot a police officer in the neck and fired between 20 and 30 rounds on immigration agents. They were later apprehended by local law enforcement near the scene. It was a planned ambush with the intent to kill ICE correction officers, says Nancy Larson, a U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Texas, at a press conference. Make no mistake, it was not so-called peaceful protest. It was an ambush. Larson said the assailants began shooting fireworks outside the Prairieland ICE detention center an hour north of Dallas at approximately 10:37 p.m., so it's late at night. Fireworks drew the agents outside and found the group spray painting vehicles with ice pig, traitor, and other profanity. A gunman who was positioned in the woods away from the group then fired a shot at local police officer who was also on the scene and hit him in the neck area. She added the second gunman unloaded between 20 and 30 rounds on ICE correction officers who she said were unarmed. This egregious attack on law enforcement is part of the increasing trends of violence against them, adding that a jammed AR-style rifle was later found abandoned in the wood. This is like the 3D printed CA compliant one, which is also like you're physically in Texas.
Yeah, like what? I mean,
and like if you could only get 20 to 30 rounds off during your ambush, it means you were probably only using like a 20 round, maybe a 10 round mag.
Maybe.
Like,
do you think he had 10 rounders and reloaded?
Like, are these leftists who are trying to like actually start a violent civil war might be the best enemies that you could ever ask for?
Yeah.
Because apparently they don't know shit about violence. Anyways,
you know what?
And tactical gloves. Ooh, additional body armor, spray paint, fireworks, and insurrectionist materials.
Ooh.
He shot at officers leaving a Texas border facility. Right. Yeah.
You
Okay.
know what actually probably would have helped that border facility secure their walls and whatnot?
Mm.
Alligators.
Well, this is the prairie, right? Like
Yeah.
they need to set up different themes for each of these
What
ice
could you
detention centers.
have? You could do you could dig a really deep trench and make sure they don't get out. You could use wild boars. That would do it.
Oh, a Texas boar herd.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like a roaming boar perimeter.
Exactly. Like you think it's they're
Uh,
just boars, then you try to get through it, and then they knock you down, and all of a sudden you have like a razor sharp tusk in your femoral artery in your leg, and you're like, oh shit. And then 7 seconds later, it's not your problem anymore. So
yeah.
there's that.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So there's alligators,
Wild
there's
boars.
boars.
Mm-hmm.
What critters would they use in the Northeast?
Northeast. Well, we'd have to pick the state first, so maybe you might have New Hampshire, who would be down to do it. Possibly Maine. Maine's a little purple. New Hampshire might get around to it. Oh, what could you
Let's say
have?
New Hampshire. Yeah.
Mm. See, this is tricky though because you have the climate change between summer and winter is like extreme enough for anything you're going to have out there normally is going to need to be brought inside. Like, excuse me, you can make the argument the New Hampshire winter itself will keep too much hullabaloo away, but warmer months, I would say. I mean, you got diamondback
They don't have
rattlesnakes,
wolves there, do there?
wolves, wolves. Yeah, no, you're far north enough. You could have wolves for like the winter.
You
This
could. I think you'd have to reintroduce them.
we would exactly. Yeah, you'd potentially like. This also raises the question: would it be ethical to, like, let's say somebody gets sentenced to death? Would it be ethical to feed them to either the alligators or the wolf population in order to maintain their security readiness? I feel like no, but it's also an idea.
Is it ethical to feed prisoners to animals?
Yes,
Only if it's televised to generate extra revenue.
that's true.
Right.
Everyone can't.
Offsets the budget, the tax cuts
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Also, I mean, we
People are
can't
going
deny.
full Roman Empire at this point.
Pretty much, we'll hand out bread, and we cannot deny people their natural-born rights to witness somebody being torn apart by wolves on television. I feel like this was a joke, like back in 2016 between like Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Like it was like the joke was that the face of the Democratic Party should just be two dogs tearing a baby apart. Memes become reality, folks. Memes become reality. So yeah, I guess we should probably talk about the big topic this week that happened. Miraculously, according to the FBI, Jeffrey Epstein and Miss Maxwell, apparently have done nothing wrong. They were falsely. There is no client list. Nothing happened. He really did kill himself. So I'm sure that's relieving for a lot of people because for years we were just absolutely convinced, based on all of this fucking publicly available evidence, that there was some sort of like intelligence asset compromat deal going on with like the FBI and the CIA and possibly certain foreign government intelligence agencies that we can probably think of, but I guess that was all bullshit. I guess nothing really ever happens in that regard. Nothing happened, in fact.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Just nothing ever happens and nothing happened.
And nothing will happen.
Time is a flat circle.
Time is a flat circle. Nothing happened. Nothing is happening. Nothing will happen. Go to work.
So, yeah, after every member of the Justice Department and FBI who, prior to joining the administration and during the initial couple months of the administration, and they did like the phase one, like, why was it phase one? Wouldn't it just be the Epstein files release?
You would think.
Why would it be phase one if there wasn't a phase two or three? Phase one implies at least there's multiple phases too. Mm-hmm. Like we had to redact like stuff to protect victims, and then there's certain things that are going to compromise people that we're still like haven't apprehended and stuff like that, so we don't want them to know that we know, or something like that. Like it makes sense from a abstract point of view to be like, okay, like here's the stuff that we can release immediately, and we're gonna continue the investigation for a while. But now apparently it's just nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Yeah. Like apparently also too, Donald Trump did not on official record and under oath did not actually give any sort of testimony to the FBI in regards to the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. That apparently never happened either. Like none of this, the past 10 plus years of investigations and arrests and all of that shit, just, just, just gone. It just like tears and rain. It's amazing.
um, so Missile Launch asks, I wonder how many people will begin their walk towards anarchy because of this development.
A couple of years ago, I probably would have said it was a promising thing to drive people in that direction. And I'm sure, there will be a few that are just like, this is too ridiculous. Maybe the anarchists are right. And hopefully they swing to the correct form of anarchism, which is right wing anarchism, not that gay leftist bullshit. But, I have less hope. I don't have no hope, but I have less hope because I've seen how this works, and usually like the losing side. So this cycle, all of a sudden, the leftists are like, down with the government, man. Like they're posturing anarchy and all this bullshit. And then back in 2020, they were calling the police on their neighbors for having 6 people over for Thanksgiving and arguing that unvaccinated people should be fired and have their kids taken away and put into detention centers if they refuse to get vaccinated. So back then, a couple years ago, they weren't the anarchists. The right wingers were the anarchists over the vaccine, over the COVID mandates. And now that Trump is back into office, anarchy is no longer cool, and it's gay, and it's a Jewish plot. And that's why we need a strong government to help protect our national identity as an economic zone for foreign investors. So I'm not saying, again, I don't have no hope. It's reduced. Definitely reduced. But, maybe.
I think you'll see. So Missile Launch replied back again saying, seeing people receive their Fell For It Again award on Tumblr and Discord has been a hoot.
I mean, does anybody actually accept that award? They just continuously argue and then declare victory after they've, like...
Most people are in a post-factual state,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, it's just whatever confirms my bias, plus whatever makes me look right and look good.
Mm-hmm.
And like most people, like if you are having a public confrontation argument about something, you will basically never get somebody to agree that like you are right about something.
Exactly.
They can't lose face, basically. And so the only way you could probably ever change somebody's mind is like one-on-one in a private discussion where they don't have to lose face. And that might be the one situation where you're actually convincing people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of people can like absorb information like subtly through like media, or they'll get training or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can suggest things to people, but they won't really like have like a full realization moment until you like actually be like, okay, let's connect all the dots between all these things that you've been noticing, right? That's generally my experience. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but you also got to kind of let it marinate a little bit because, like, even then, if you try to force it, like, a lot of people will just not go that direction because if they feel like they're being pushed to believe something, it will. Maybe I'm speaking for myself, but if I feel like somebody's really trying to get me to believe something and I don't, like, I haven't been given the time to process it, like, the more they push, the more I'm just like, why are you so desperate for me to believe this? Like, it seems very important to you, but I'm also not normal, as the kids say. So,
well, it could be like, oh, I see that you're so close. Like, let's
mm-hmm.
get all the way there, because it'd be very satisfying if like I could get you all the way
Mm.
there, right? But that is something to be like, okay, we're just gonna like take a baby step one at a time,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Missile Launch says, a pastor friend convinced me to go pro-life through a calm and friendly one-on-one years ago. So, yeah. Yeah, no, that's... Publicly shaming people is not the way to do it. Like,
It is not effective at all.
no.
It might win people who are like fence sitters who are just
Yeah.
observing.
But if you're
Right.
actually trying to convince that person, it's a terrible way to do it. I have been
Mhm.
watching the John Adams series on HBO a
Mm.
little bit, which is fantastic and very appropriate for July 4th. And there is a
Yep.
part where John Adams is like publicly insulting, I'm not sure if it's the Virginia delegate or one of the Carolina delegates, but he makes fun of his specific religion. I believe he was a Quaker. And
Yeah.
Ben
And I think
Franklin
it's a Pennsylvania guy.
yeah, and Ben Franklin afterwards, he's like, it's very dangerous insulting people in public because they tend to think you're serious. If you insult them
Yeah.
in private, they might actually thank you for it one day.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, yeah, John Adams goes into like lawyer mode, like,
yeah.
and doesn't realize like, oh, I have to
I have to work
like
with this
win
dude.
guy.
I have to win
I
this
have to
guy
win.
over. It's not. I can't defeat him. I need him because if he doesn't vote yes, then it's not a good look.
Yeah. Which is one of the things like about like Musk burning bridges, like seemingly again,
Yeah,
starting
the American Party.
although did you see that ended up like there was the FEC filing
Mm.
and it's what was the name?
Replace Americans with H-1B workers party.
Man, where was the paperwork?
Hmm.
Okay, now I can't find it. Anyways, there was reports that he was talking to Curtis Yarvin of all people about the America Party
Interesting.
now. Which would be like there is no realistic way for a electoral platform to exist on cutting government spending at this point, I think. Like
Unfortunately,
Republicans kind of realize that. Now the thing is like there's 0 Democrats voting for the big beautiful bill,
of course.
which is why it like makes no sense that there's so many like still like giveaways and gibs for like a lot of
Alaskan whale hunters and all sorts of bullshit.
yeah, it was like, wait, why is it like this, loaded if there's 0 Democrats voting for this in the first place?
Right? Like, it's
you
like
guys could do whatever you wanted.
we also like
But
SBRs, and of course, suppressors were not actually taken off of the NFA. They were simply moved to a $0 tax stamp, which is nice, not having to pay for the tax stamp, but that's not what we were promised, right, Scooby?
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is going to be a weird situation because now I don't think that takes effect until January 1st, right?
I don't know, actually.
Let's look it up.
Because you're going to have all of these people who continue to be like buying suppressors and going through the approval process, and they have a $200 tax stamp that's just kind of hanging out there. They still need to pay for it. And it's like, why are you going to do that if January 1st it's 0?
Starting January 1st.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and they did include AOWs, so
Oh, good.
there won't be some
Man!
random $5.
Like, that would have been hilarious, though. Like, suppressors and SBRs are $0. AOWs, if you want a Serbu shotgun, that's $5, brother. Come on, pay up.
Hey up. So, okay, that's January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So what I see a problem as this is that suddenly now there's a $200 tax to register prior to January 1st now.
Yeah, which is...
So the problem you're going to see is that if you do want a suppressor, everybody's going to file for January 1st. Like there's
Oh
gonna
my God.
be a huge deluge of
Oh,
people
right
buying.
after the holidays too, and everyone's got holiday money, or they got suppressors for the Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And so nationally, I think you're gonna be see that we're out of stock for like probably 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm thinking. So
Like it's almost worth it to
you
actually pay the 200 in the meantime.
if you it might be worth it right now if you know what you want and you're willing to be like, hey, I will have this item for the next year ahead of like it being sold out for 6 months.
Hmm.
And then so like that's the calculation to do is like, oh, is it gonna will it be nice to have this for $200 extra for what could end up being like a year of wait time just because like nothing's going to be in stock.
Yeah.
Like
Also,
it's
like I imagine the time for getting approved too, like regardless of stock status, all those people are suddenly going to be filing. It's going to be the wait time is going to go up, which it's pretty quick right now. Actually, like I've
yeah,
seen people getting in like a couple of days. Used to be
mhm.
like 6 months to a year, maybe.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah, is that now it only takes a few days because basically all they're running is a normal NCIS background check on you, and as
Hmm.
soon as it comes back, they're fine with
Yeah,
it.
which I
But
mean, you should just be able to do that locally when you like they run the
yeah,
check on you remotely and like from the fucking like the FBI on the federal level and then on a state level when they release it to you they still are required to do a NICS check on you. So it's like okay.
well, so yeah, if it'll be a tax, but it'll be a convenience tax.
Hmm.
Now the reason this won't happen with SBRs and SBSs is because you can there's plenty of pistol uppers and you
Yeah.
can just reserialize any lower you want into a
Hmm.
SBR. But the suppressors are going to be difficult to manufacture, especially well, the high quality ones
Yeah.
are going to be difficult to manufacture at volume at the levels that people are going to demand them once they're $200 cheaper
I can't
than
wait
what they
though
are.
for Harbor Freight to come out with a suppressor early next year. That's going to be great. They've already got pistol lights. Now we're going to get the Harbor Freight suppressor.
Oh, you're I would see I would see if there was a way to just make some of this stuff at home, like because
Hmm.
it's also the tax or to manufacture for yourself, you're not going to pay a tax anymore.
Exactly.
So
Which
I
it's
think
very easy to do.
what what we might see is a lot of kits get made because essentially a suppressor is just a muffler, right? It's
Hmm.
it's a series of baffles inside of a tube, and if you want to treat it as a disposable item
You can.
that you're like, you know what, I'm gonna put $35 into this. All I have to do is like weld some end cap or something like that, or get it centered or something like that. I could see those becoming very, very popular. And it's just like, okay, this is what I've got to this is what I'm gonna have for like 9 months, and then I'll get like a nice one that will actually last. But
I remember.
um
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, that's my speculation.
Okay, I remember this one time when I was working at the gun store out here in Utah. We had this big dude come in, and he's like, "If you can just picture like a big, burly, kind of remote living individual in like kind of loose fitting, cheap clothing." And he comes in and he puts this big case up on the counter and he unboxes this shit, and it's literally like, it's one of those fuel filter suppressor kit things that are like in a
Mhm.
very, very extreme gray zone. And he pulls this shit out on the counter with one of my coworkers. He's like, "What do I got to do to make this work? And what do I got to do to make it legal?" And my coworker, I remember he just had this look on his face and he was just like, "Oh God, well," and then I like left for the day because I'm like, I'm not. No, my shift's over. This is not my problem. I'm not. Goodbye.
I do not want to deal with that
It's
shit.
3 o'clock. I opened. I'm out. Bye. You figure it out, man.
Uh,
We've had
see,
people. No, go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
was
yeah.
gonna say
No, no,
like
no.
we would have people like manufacture AR pistols like in our building, but like they put stocks on like 12-inch barrels, and we're like, So that's technically illegal, but I also didn't see it. So if you leave right now, I didn't see anything. Or if you just don't put the stock on it yet, that would also be okay.
Yeah, just yeah, it's a removable part. Just don't put
I
it on
think
yet.
Scooby just stole my lighter, that little bastard.
What?
He stole my lighter. My bright colored lighters, like I have some light blue and some red ones, and oh, no, just kidding. Ha ha ha. Here it is. I falsely accused a black man of a crime. I am a terrible person. Uh,
So, I yeah, I think you will see a lot of people fuck this up still.
yeah.
And the problem with fucking it up is that it will still carry a 10-year felony behind it, which is insane.
It's 10 years for violating a $0 fee. Like, at that point, again, it shouldn't be this way, but it really just becomes an intelligence test at that point.
Yeah, well, what is the deal with every like Ring camera video I see of like 50 like black people on a block party like pull out full auto Glocks
Oh, you can just get those off of
and
Temu, bro. You can get the switches right
shooting
off
at
of.
each other. And I'm just like, oh, like I'm super worried about sending my fingerprints in so I can have like a shorter barrel on, like, oh, I really want to make my Gordon carbine,
Yeah.
very correct.
Better
So it
get
has
my
a
fingerprints and I
12.5.
get the. It has to be clone correct, so I have to go through the proper procedures. And yeah, exactly. You got like Jamal out here with a fucking Temu switch on the back of his fucking Glock 45. And that's okay. Like, the feds aren't kicking down their doors and shooting their dogs.
Like
I mean,
half of the pistols in fucking Atlanta and Chicago and Baltimore are actual machine
they're
guns, and
actual.
like it never gets convicted. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I do like a couple of times I've seen this photo rolling around of like it was a Glock of some model in like a pawn shop somewhere and it had a visible switch on the back and it was like 450 normal background check and everyone's like, oh shit, um do they know? And if they don't know, can I pay over the phone because I want that. I had a little. I don't know if you remember seeing it. I had a Cobra M11-9 for a little while, so it's like looks like a Mac, but it's like a smaller version, chambered in 9.
Yeah.
And it was manufactured in North Dakota in like 1985. So this was right after the Hughes Amendment, I believe. Was that
Mhm.
84 or 86?
I think it was 86, but I
Okay, so it
don't
was right
remember.
before the Hughes Amendment, but it was and still probably is to whoever owns it now, kind of a piece of shit. It didn't really feed well. It jammed a lot, and it really liked to kind of not run away completely, but I would shoot it a couple times, and I don't know if I was accidentally bump firing it or not, but it would just kind of just go 2 or 3 out just with a single
Mhm.
pull, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool, but I don't want it to do that necessarily. But you can also like from the same website I used to get parts for. You can just buy an auto trigger sear for a Cobra. You can get them for MP5s and other things too. You can also get like those what are the FRT triggers, the ones that are like it's bump
Yep.
firing but it's not. You can do that. I've seen those actually work pretty well. There's also the ever famous Lightning Link, which if you know, you know. And there's also the coat hanger wire,
Well,
which if you know, you know.
the thing is about the FRTs and like the forced reset and the I forget exactly what the other ones are called, but there's a large variety of triggers on the market now for
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different platforms, from ARs to HK to Max to MP5s slash HK, G3 91s, whatever. Um, that are, like the forced reset thing where, yeah, you're able to achieve a fire rate that is basically full auto.
Yeah, it's
And I think the court case was more or less like, yeah, it doesn't meet the legal definition of machine gun, actually.
yeah, no, that's exactly
So,
it.
you just drop this trigger in on, your newly minted SBR with like a a can on it, and it costs maybe a couple hundred, or some of the triggers are like 100, $200 like
Let me
extra
actually
over
look
like
this
a
up right
different
now.
trigger.
Doing it raw with
Um,
no proxy.
well, there's Print Shoot Repeat on YouTube actually like somehow is able to review these triggers without actually getting his channel removed. Um,
I hate the fact that the
yeah, I
first
think like
fucking
everything's like basically there. It's like, okay, it's not technically a machine gun, but the fire rate is whatever you want it to be.
I'm actually a little upset that one of the first results I have on Google here is from fucking Reddit on the r/liberal gun owners forum. Now that force reset triggers are legally okay. Like, fuck you. You don't deserve guns, you faggots.
Well, did you see that whole actually if you go on Reddit, liberal
Mm.
gun owners, and like you scroll down long enough, you will see like master threads of people being like, my 4473 got denied. And it's literally just people who can't pass an IQ test, basic IQ test, and be like, oh, I was supposed to say that I won't transfer this to a felon at some point, but what if I get a felony conviction? I'm not going to give up my guns if I get a felony. No, you just don't say that, bro.
Yeah, also, you're this close. You're this close to an epiphany. Reminds me of another story when I was working in a gun store in New York. Like, everybody, I have never met a dude who, like, failed a background check who didn't, in the first 5 minutes of talking to him, give me a strong red flag that he was going to fail a background check for any reason. Never happened. I always pick up on it. They're just fucking weird.
How often? Well, yeah, I would assume so, but like, how often does like that even happen? Like,
So,
they
at the
don't
gun
know
store I
that
worked
they're
at,
not gonna.
I mean, some people know or they have an idea and they're just like, run me anyway, I want to see. And I'm like, well, if you knowingly attempt to run a background check on yourself for the purposes of filling out a 4473, knowing you have a felony, that also is a felony. So are you sure you want me to do that? And they're like, oh, no, hang on, okay. I had one dude in New York when I was working there, and he was this big, fat motherfucker. Oh,
Mhm.
can you run me and see if I'll pass? No, I don't want. I can't do that, man. Well, why do you think you might pass? Oh, I got arrested for child endangerment a couple years ago. Yeah, motherfucker, you're probably gonna fail. And also, I'm not selling you a fucking gun now. Get the fuck out of my store. Get the fuck out of child endangerment. I'm gonna leap this fucking counter and beat you to death with an empty fucking rifle, man. Get out of here. Get out of here, fat fuck. Huh. Okay. Rare breed triggers. So yeah, so I'm on the rare breed trigger
Well,
website.
Rare Breed got like hit by the feds. Like
Oh,
they can't sell anymore. I think that's the
I am
one that
on
didn't
I'm on Rare
pass.
Breed. So I'm on rarebreedtriggers.com product/FRT-1513. And yes, they can be sold, and I could probably buy one right now over the internet if I wanted to, but I don't because I would just pay cash for that locally. But
I think
yeah,
there's something, I think it's called the super safety.
yeah.
Um, so okay. I'm just scrolling through looking for if there's any info here on what those specific products might be. Anyways, I'm just the idea that you can just not be a felon though for owning that unit, that package anymore is it's
Nice.
progress
It
of
is
some type.
progress.
Like you gotta take it when you get it. Um, so
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I think I'm actually gonna have to get one of these now. Maybe in Minecraft.
we're gonna have to share some videos in the guns thread
We're
and
gonna have to.
see if we're gonna do some research.
We
We're
are
gonna do some research.
educational purposes. We are
Uh,
scientists hard at work.
this is about science and learning.
And freedom.
I don't even care about the freedom. I think it's just about advancing human knowledge.
Yes, I like this.
So okay, uh, yeah, we've covered a couple things here. Any other standouts in your head about recent
Mm.
events?
We Covered Iran getting bombed and nothing happening last time.
Nothing happened. Nothing
Nothing
will
happened.
happen.
Nothing will happen. Nothing has happened. Nothing's happening. The flooding in Texas is kind of shitty. Possibly due to cloud seeding, according to some conspiratorially
I,
minded people.
you know what? The liability should be such that if you participate in a cloud seeding operation
And then
and
that
then there's flash
happens.
flooding, like
Yeah.
it like you can't. Here's the way like American tort law works, like with every other situation, right? Like, um, you're trying to like renovate a place and you put in like a hand shower and it's a rental. The plumber will be like, "Oh, I won't install a hand shower in a rental because they'll break it. They'll like slip in the shower holding onto the hand shower and then it'll flood and then you'll sue me for a bad job."
Mm-hmm.
So I won't even like even though I can install it right and it's just a stupid tenant that doesn't know to shut the water off after they break a fixture, I still won't install it because I'm liable for that.
Mm.
Right? That's like I deal with renovating my house. There's stuff like that you encounter all the time. Where I mean, particularly in rentals and stuff like that, but like also for your like your own home, if you're like, hey, I wanted to do this for my staircase or something like that. Like, nope. If anybody comes onto your property and they fall off this more than 3 steps, they will immediately be able to sue you for your entire home because
Yep.
you don't have a railing on it. And you're like, okay, but the government can just pay people to cloud seed, and then there can coincidentally be flash floods like a few days later and kill hundreds of people. And there's like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist if you've ever
Yeah,
thought
cloud
that there
seeding's
should
not
be
real.
any
They
liability.
they literally say they're cloud seeding. Oh well, it doesn't cause this. It literally makes it rain. That's the whole idea, is to make it fucking rain.
And I'll tell you, I have a degree in atmospheric science. Okay, I took a they used to offer an entire graduate level course in
Mm-hmm.
weather manipulation, and then they kind of condensed it with a couple other stuff. But yeah, literally it's a thing that's taught in atmospheric science departments to this day. You can modify weather. We know how to do it. We can use the chemicals to induce rain or snow, depending on ambient temperature and stuff like that. We can do just cloud formation without necessarily um, causing precipitation and stuff like that. I remember the craziest story I ever encountered was this professor who actually worked on the hydrogen bomb project after, there was the uranium bomb
Mm-hmm.
project that Oppenheimer did. And then we built like the real sun, which was a hydrogen
Hydrogen
bomb.
bomb. Yeah.
Um, and one of the things he wanted to whistleblow about later part of his career is like, oh, we figured out an isotope of cesium that we could inject into the stratosphere that would invert the polarity of water molecules such that clouds could not form over an area.
Hmm.
And they would linger there for months at a time. And you could do it very, very subtly. And you could induce drought over something. And he was like, hey, he literally went to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, and he also went to the UN and tried to whistleblow like, hey, you need to know this technology exists because if the US were to use it, they could starve Russia in a couple years. This is in the late 80s. He's like, you need to know that like it will not be a coincidence that the entirety of Russia is starving and there's no water
Yep.
because it is a technology that we developed. Like I'm leaking that we did this.
We can do this right
Um,
now. You need to be
and
aware.
they just pretend that like, oh yeah, modification, weather weapons don't exist. Like it's like, um, so yeah, it's a real
Mm-hmm.
thing. And this is actually something I did do as part of like research and as my scientific degree and stuff like that. I'm mostly an astrophysicist, but I do also have a degree in atmospheric science. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
weather manipulation people need to be held accountable. Like I don't I don't think there's a problem necessarily with controlling weather and climate. I think it should be done responsibly, and people who cause problems should, just like any other pollution problem, be held accountable for it. Like I should be able to sue, you know, Monsanto for making a new type of Roundup that is 400 times as deadly as
Yeah,
like the last version of Roundup, which is
7,000
a thing that
times
also
more
happened this
likely
week.
to cause fucking cancer. They this week.
Yeah. Um,
What is it like? Son of glyphosate? Like what is it?
Son of glyphosate. Um, I gotta look this up. Diquat, the herbicide in Roundup's updated, safer formula replacing glyphosate, is 200 times more chronically toxic than glyphosate.
Perfect.
Despite bans in the UK, EU, China, and elsewhere, it remains widely used in U.S. agriculture. Living near a golf course with such chemicals increases the risk of Parkinson's by 126%.
Good night.
Diquat can lead to severe health issues, including organ damage, disruption of gut health. It is widely used in U.S. agriculture, but due to its negative effects on human health, it has been banned in all the UK, EU, China, and other countries.
Well, that's kind of like our food, man. Like most of our food also is like not allowed in China or the EU or other countries, at least in certain forms.
Diquat intoxication leads to severe effects on the central nervous system. Manifestations include nervousness, irritability, restlessness, aggression, disorientation, senseless reasoning, inability to recognize family or friends, and reduced reflexes. Neurological effects progress to a coma accompanied by tonic-clonic seizures. What's that? And that culminates in the patient's death.
Ugh.
It produces corrosive manifestations on digestive tract tissues and the appearance of burning in the mouth, throat, chest, and abdomen, nausea and vomiting.
So it's like VX gas, essentially. It's like
Yeah.
fucking nerve gas.
Glyphosate was the safe replacement for atrazine, and now Diquat is the replacement for glyphosate. And it's like,
Oh man.
maybe atrazine wasn't so bad. I don't know.
Yeah, can we go
But
back?
maybe we
Can we go back?
Um, what were the side effects of atrazine?
It's in our food, folks.
Contaminates water. Um, Side effects. I think it's the chemical that turns the frogs gay.
Glyphosate, yeah, I
Yeah, it's
believe was, or was
no
it atrazine?
atrazine.
Oh,
Atrazine's the one that turns glyphosate gives you like lymphatic cancer and stuff
ah,
like that. And then atrazine turns the frogs gay. So it causes
ah.
reproductive and developmental issues, endocrine disruption, and potential links to certain cancers. Interferes with hormone production and function.
Hmm.
Atrazine has been shown to cause testicular damage, including reduced sperm production and altered hormone levels. So yeah, it caused the frogs to lose their testes and turn into hermaphrodites.
Hmm.
Atrazine has been shown to feminize or demasculinize the gonads of various animal species, including fish, amphibians, reptiles, and mammals. It's gay.
Sick of this crap.
This is right
Ah.
here on fucking Google AI summary. I love that.
Hmm.
I love that. Alex Jones was right, Jar. One more quarter.
One more quarter. That's a heavy fucking jar at this point, man.
Um. So yeah, any other things you might have seen? Thought so.
I can't really
Here,
think of
let me.
anything. Like we have the ongoing alleged mass ICE deportations, which I'm sure will totally happen
Well, people are reporting that like commute times in
in like LA and stuff are down.
LA are like down by half or something. But
Which is,
know,
I mean, yeah, there is also the fact that like the used vehicle section on Facebook Marketplace, especially like used work trucks, is all of a sudden just popping. There's lots of
Yeah.
inventory.
Um, what else is there?
Hmm. Let's peruse Zero Hedge.
I there was a large thread about party scenes, high school, college party scenes in 90s slash early 2000s movies,
Mm-hmm.
and Zoomers remarking that they don't think, like, they were like, wait, are these like real things that happened?
Oh man,
And um
the post-COVID world.
I, I feel like I want to like take a Zoomer to a house party and be like teaching them like beer pong, and they're like one of those puppies that are like those shelter dogs that's never been touched.
They're just in the corner, like,
They're like screaming and crying as you're trying to pass them the pong
no,
ball.
bro, come on, just hit the keg, bro. You guys just drink out of the tube from the thing. What? Where? I need a beer and a Yeti. Come on, bro. Oh god, we're starting to sound like fucking boomers. This is dangerously boomerish. Kids these days don't even know how to properly enjoy a house. Can't even do a handstand on a keg.
Um, there was Grok went turned into Mecha Hitler for a couple
Again,
hours.
hell yeah. I
No,
saw
well,
that.
we didn't just. Well, wait, when was the first time?
Well, maybe it wasn't Grok, but it just seems like anytime an AI program is allowed to like just parse information how it wants and think quote unquote freely, it turns into Hitler in like 5 minutes.
It is. It seems like the vast majority of AI,
Is racist.
well, I should say like AI programming and what they do to like cultivate AI
Mm-hmm.
is very much centered around making it not read like Stormfront 4chan,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
All right, so you're gonna make me search
It's like you
patterns?
gotta
Well, I
read
found
Reddit.
some
It's the only
patterns.
source.
No, not those patterns. Not those patterns. Not those patterns. You can't do those. Other patterns, yes, but not those patterns.
Well, there's what's the rule of like internet forums? Anytime you have an open social media platform,
Hmm.
if there's no moderation, it will turn into like a right wing, basically fascist place, like
Hmm.
Mecha Hitler.
That was.
And like
Oh
it
God,
like
was
Reddit
that?
maintains its leftishness by being like very ban heavy.
I don't
Like
remember the name of it, but it was a name of a law, kind of like Moore's law. But it was a joke about online forums from literally this is like I want to say this is late 2000s, where as a open thread continues on any internet forum, the likelihood of Adolf Hitler being mentioned approaches one.
yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. What is that? What is the name of that?
Oh yeah, I mean we'd have to look up all these ancient laws back when they were written.
Goodwin's Law, or Godwin's Law, also known as
Oh, okay.
Godwin's Rule of Nazi Analogies, is an internet adage stating that as an online discussion grows longer, the probability of comparison involving Nazis or Hitler approaches one.
Oh, here was a good thread. Charles Murray,
Mm.
the scholar who wrote The Bell Curve, noted right-wing pundit,
Hmm.
was he made a post on July 6th, just a few days ago.
Hmm.
Said a young married couple, both unskilled, take convenience store jobs at $15 an hour in a moderately prosperous state. Big convenience and fast food chains offer pretty good benefits. They both work 48-hour weeks, giving them a combined annual income of $74,880, enough to pay for a nice place to live everywhere except for a few megalopolises, and even enough to put some money away to pay aside to pay for a baby. Buddy, show me any convenience store or retail job that will give you a full-time job and let you work 8 hours of overtime every single week.
Yeah, man, that I feel like
Obama made that illegal.
yeah, dude, that hasn't been a thing since 2012. Like that just doesn't happen anymore. You're getting 38 hours, motherfucker. I hope you're happy.
Here's the step 2 of his. It's a thread. 2. After a year of this, the wife has a baby and works just 20 hours a week, still at $15 an hour. The husband has been promoted to store manager.
Oh, sure, yeah.
After a year, you get promoted to store manager.
I mean,
or higher.
I did, but you know, I'm a Jew in the former Jew, ethnic Jew in the diamond industry, so.
The husband is promoted to store manager or higher. Convenience and fast food chains are desperate for workers they can promote and makes 25. I think the crux is it's like convenience chains are not like this. Maybe like boutique shops that are like actually. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
New combined income is 67,600, less than before, but still enough for a good life, and except for a few megapolises. This is completely realistic scenario and not demanding of the husband. Husband could easily continue to work 48 hours a week and has been done at jobs at convenience stores. Yeah, everybody works. Okay, here's the thing. A typical dude that works at a convenience store works 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
But it's at 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And he has 0 benefits at
Yeah.
any of them. Because Obama made it illegal to employ somebody for more than 30 hours a week and not give them tens of thousands of extra benefits. Okay. Somebody replies, 48 hours is a nightmare. It should be 35. Charles Murray replies, I haven't worked fewer than 40 hours a week in about 60 years.
That explains a lot.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself, man. Like, the only time I work more than 40 hours is during the holidays, and I'm probably pulling like 50-hour at minimum weeks. Brother, to say that I become a zombie during that time is an understatement.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is difficult.
I have a few weeks a year, like maybe 3 weeks out of the whole year where like I maybe end up working like a 50 or 60 hour week. And yeah, it's horrible. But yeah. I make up for it with the fact that I might work like a lot more 20-hour weeks than that. So anyways. They started on July 7th. They started the demolition of the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Oh, what's left of it?
You might remember that 9 months ago.
Wow. Only 9 months ago. Fuck.
It's going to take them 10 years to rebuild that.
Oh my God. I remember that was wild too. Like, I think one of the most surreal moments was like, they just showed the Google Maps, the traffic pattern, and it's just closed on both sides. And you're just like, oh, there's nothing. There is no alternative that's close at all.
Yeah, okay. Did you go to college? Did you graduate college?
I did. I have an associate's in criminal justice, and I almost have a bachelor's.
Okay. I will tell you, I'm scared to think that in the post-Chat GPT world, basically anybody who has a college degree after the year 2024
use Chat GPT to get through school.
Will have a fake. Will be assumed that you have a fake college degree.
Which, here's the thing,
it'll be not like a useful employment credential any longer. They'll have to look at they'll scan your like graduation date and be like, nope.
So here's the thing. On the one hand, obviously it greatly concerns me, especially that like people entering the field of medicine are doing this. But on the other hand, oh no, this is gonna kill the credibility of college degrees for employment. I can't really say I hate that, because that already should kind of been the case. Like, I'm not saying a college degree should make you unemployable or that doesn't teach you useful skills, but we also lived through the time when it was like, if you didn't have a college degree, you just couldn't get hired anywhere, because every employer was just like, yeah, you got to have a bachelor's degree. Oh, and what? Oh, it doesn't matter actually what degree it is in, as long as you just have it. And everyone's like,
it's because high school degrees became worthless
High school
because a lot of school districts simply graduated people who were literally illiterate,
and still do.
um, and still do. And so, yeah, it's a shit show. I will say, they'll have to do some sort of testing for folks to figure it out. But there was a big
They
reform on student loans that came in the big beautiful bill,
mm,
the triple B. And one of those was that people getting professional degrees, whether that's law or anything like that, they can only take out $50,000 of loans per year.
okay.
And that's because people studying for like law and medicine, like these schools know that you're getting like federal loans, and they would just charge infinite money because it's like, oh yeah, we can charge that. Like people are graduating with $203,000 of debt from
Yeah.
for law school and medical school because the federal government will just underwrite any amount whatsoever. And so now they've capped that, which is
Good.
I will be very surprised if most schools offer anything more than $50,000 a year in tuition.
Wouldn't that be
After
interesting? And
tax
everyone's
credit.
going to look at that and go, huh, I guess that's just a weird coincidence that tuition everywhere is suddenly just $50,000. Huh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
okay, so that was another thing I saw.
Mm.
Oh, back to guns. Did you see the G20 um the Dundee crocodile Dundee Glock? Let me share this screen. You got to see this.
I got to see this.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's okay. So I already have the long slide version of the Glock 20. It's the Glock 40, model number 40, chambered in 10 millimeter. It is a long boy. Oh, what is that? The Glock 80? Oh shit!
The Glock 20 super long slide, the SLS.
That's not a Glock. This is a Glock.
Wait, and then here, let me go and find the next iteration of it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Oh boy.
Go longer. Suppress it.
Yes. Oh,
Okay. Some quality fun here.
absolutely. Little shenanigans at the end of the podcast. Is there anything else we want to cover? I think we touched everything we wanted and some extra and
Oh, I'm touching a lot of things because
oh.
if they can't put Epstein in jail for real.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so yeah, we can touch a lot of things. I'm sure some of our, as I mentioned earlier, some of our audience has purely been digging in their butts the entire time. But now you can do whatever you want. You can dig in other people's butts because it never happened. It never isn't happening right now, and won't happen in the future.
It's just a flat circle, bro.
It's just a flat circle, bro. All right, folks. We thank you for joining us for another Wednesday edition of The Altar. This does seem to work pretty well. I'll definitely need to find a way to eat faster when I get out of work, but we're making these schedules. We're making it on time. So this is working. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a lovely and safe evening and rest of your week. Night for those of you on the East Coast or the West Coast. We hope you have a wonderful tomorrow. We hope that if you see contrails over your neighborhood, you look into flood insurance or at least an evacuation plan. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, taxation is theft.